Get excited. We are here for season 2 of Hollywood Medium. Don't go away.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AFTERBUZZ TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
I love it. And we're bringing the show in with a little bit of Madison Beer, who was featured on tonight's episode. Hi, everyone. I'm your host, Katerina Cozias. You can find me on Twitter at Cozias Katerina. Now, I just need to point out that for my followers, that has changed. I know you guys are used to seeing me at Katerina Cozias. Twitter kerfuffle, don't ask. It's now at Cozias Katerina. But my Instagram is still at Katerina Cozias. So just use that name in one of those two variations and you'll be able to connect with me. I am joined here tonight by my beautiful co-stars. Let's introduce ourselves, ladies.
Hi, I'm Jennifer Leone, and you can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Jennifer Leone TV.
And I'm Ava Hill, and you can find me on Facebook as Ava Hill and on Instagram at The Ava Hill.
And ladies, how excited are we to be here tonight?
I'm so excited.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
First of all, the show is about Hollywood Medium, and it's back for a second season on E! Second season premiered tonight. Mm-hmm. Good premiere. We all had tears in our eyes at one point.
Oh, it was great.
It was great.
I'm not going to be able to wear makeup.
Yeah, this is going to be one of those shows. Now, to recap for anyone that might be listening on audio, Hollywood Medium is a show about a 20-year-old clairvoyant, I guess he is. He's a medium who talks to and channels people that have passed with the intent of trying to make people that are still living feel a little more comfortable with their passings, bring some closure, bring some guidance. So it's a really, really cool show. You know, it's Tyler Henry that is the main star, and he's coming to us with little captions of different stars that he's meeting with. So it's going to be a good season.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm so happy that he got a second season. I think he's so talented because he's been doing this, you know, he's gotten early signs of being able to talk with people on the other side for like since he was a child. Right. So it's just so interesting to see him like, you know, benefit from this in such like a positive way.
Right, absolutely.
To use his gift. Yeah. So awesome.
Before we get into the show, I just want to introduce us a little bit more because it is the first episode and we hope you're going to be following us through, I heard 22 episodes.
Oh, really?
Yes, this one's going all year.
Good.
So you're going to do this all year Wednesday nights?
I know, me too.
Ava, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, my name is Ava Hill. I'm from Charleston, South Carolina. Started out in musical theater and then transitioned to media. Just graduated from the New School in New York with a master's in media. And
go girl.
It's so exciting. And it came out in January because I got a position to intern for E! News. So it's been amazing. And I'm following my mother's footsteps. She was an anchor. So it's just so great to have her as an example and to be in LA and meet so many amazing people, including these two women. Because they have just been great ever since I've met them like 20 minutes ago.
It's Ava's first show for anyone wondering.
This is my first show, so I'm excited. I'm nervous all in one.
We have to welcome her. Welcome.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
Jennifer, where are you from?
I'm from Chicago.
Oh, amazing.
South Side.
Yeah.
How long have you been in LA?
3 years.
Great.
Almost 3 years. So it's been pretty amazing.
I love Chicago.
Chicago's a great city. I'm hungry here in LA though. Like I love the food in Chicago and it's just really difficult to eat. I mean, I can get a great juice, but I need pizza sometimes. So
you need to be able to find pizza at 4 a.m., right?
Yes. I mean, thank God for food trucks. Right. I like that. You know? Taco trucks, all of that. But yeah, I'm from Chicago. I interned at NBC. I have a huge news background. I did political news. I've done literally everything, and I moved here and got a job right away at TMZ, which was great. And I worked there for a while, and I was a court reporter and did all the legal stuff. So, but I do love reality shows, and I'm obsessed with television, and especially I think like E! shows especially tend to be like really great.
How can you not be obsessed?
I mean, I love this. And this Hollywood Medium is right up my alley. I love all this stuff. I love it.
Well, we're going to have so much stuff to talk about over the course of the show. Quick recap for me, for those of you wondering, my name is Katerina. I'm coming via Miami. So I've been in Miami for about 6 years. Oh, wow. Working as a media relations consultant, doing public speaking and also a lot of PR work. I'm originally from Canada, though, so a shout out to Canada and anyone up there from Calgary. And, the thing about this show is it talks about clairvoyance and channeling energy, and I think that's just a global thing. At the end of the day, it's global. We're going to get into the show right now. So, show opens up with Tyler in the car with his good friend, who's also his manager's assistant, Charlie.
Yes.
Now, the crazy thing is, I met Charlie the other day. Yes,
Did
I
you?
did. Yeah, I did. I got to meet her. So if you're watching this, hi, I'm going to hit you up after the show because we'd love to get you guys on.
Yes, that would be amazing. That would be amazing.
Yeah, and Tyler, if you're watching, keep it in mind because we would love to invite you onto the show. We're gonna have a blast here.
Yeah.
Yes.
The show opens up with him going to visit Melissa Joan Hart. What
So
did you girls
good.
think of that?
Interesting, because she is a strong Catholic, and didn't know how things would work out, and it was just the genuine looks on their faces.
Yeah.
It was just enough to make you cry.
Yeah.
It was incredible.
Very, very genuine. And I related to her a lot, actually, because coming from someone who has, strong morals, I'm glad that she mentioned, in the episode that, I don't know about this, my beliefs, like they may cross over with this. And so how Tyler was able to come to her and say, no, like, actually, I'm using this in a positive light. This is a positive gift, and this is why. And he,
and his gift being that he can speak to people that have passed, basically, right?
So, that he was able to kind of calm her down in that sense and, relate it back to the Bible and, how, this is a gift. It's not something, that should be shunned upon. And, I'm here to create peace and understanding and clarity with people that you love. Thought it was great. Something that I definitely could relate to.
Did you two believe that you can talk to the dead before watching the show tonight?
I'm a very strong believer in all of that. So I personally, I do believe that, but I think that there are a lot of people who fake it. So, I don't believe in the Long Island medium. Like, there's certain people, I have never seen anyone on TV that I really believed.
Did you believe Tyler?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I
Very
think
genuine.
Tyler is the real deal.
He's the real deal.
Yeah. I don't
Yeah.
think he's faking anything.
We want to know what you guys at home think. So if you watched tonight's episode, tweet us. Let us know how you felt. All three of us, when we were watching this episode, really felt as though he was humble with his gift. And he calls it a gift. And I thoroughly believe that it is a gift.
It is. It has to be.
It is. And I feel like, can you imagine like walking around with that kind of gift though? Like how overwhelming that is, like catching other people's emotions and feeling like obligated to let them know even if they didn't ask, it's just, I don't know. I can picture myself walking down the street with him and him being like, you know what? I don't know if you want this right now, but it's just intense.
I like that.
Yeah,
I like that a lot.
Like, yeah.
I'd be like, wait, my grandma's coming in.
Wait, hold on, my grandmother.
Selena, can
Stop.
we travel Selena?
Right.
Do that.
It's like, it's overwhelming. Like, can you imagine just having that like,
Well,
Yeah,
you can
it's
see it
crazy.
in the faces of the stars that he talks to. Like you saw it with Melissa today.
yeah.
He was hitting on things that she was saying there is no way anyone could have known. Like you couldn't have gone to research some of the things that he was telling her about her grandmother, her grandfather, the way they passed. So there's an element of truth to this. I actually have a good friend named Heather, and Heather she's a bit of a psychic.
Really?
And when I first met her, I thought, okay, no. Like, I think things, and she'll come up to me about 3 hours later, like, so, hey, I was thinking you were thinking this, and
See
I'm
what I'm
thinking,
saying?
what?
That's so cool to me.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Though.
So cool.
That's
Yeah.
so cool. Yeah.
No,
Absolutely.
I love that.
Have you guys ever had an experience with a ghost?
Our show isn't
With a
long
spirit?
enough.
I'd say a spirit.
Our show isn't long
You've
enough
got
for all
lots
my
to share.
I
But you know
have
what? I'm in denial. Because one of the people that I really related to on this was Madison Beer.
Okay, Madison Beer was the second guest
She was the
they
second.
talked to.
She was the second guest.
Yeah.
And one thing that she said was, she has anxiety about passing, and I have anxiety too. And I think it didn't really hit me until I've had incidents with both of my parents and then like colleagues that I went to school with, them passing very early, that I like think about it all the time.
Did your parents pass away?
No,
Oh,
no.
my
But
goodness.
like cancer scares and stuff like that. But like, it's made me very aware of how precious life is. And I think about it often. And because of that, going back to, it makes me nervous. Like, I don't want to say that ghosts just don't completely, exist. But at the same time, it makes me scared to like communicate or, I don't know. It's like it's like
I
scary.
gotcha.
Like I don't want to, I just don't want it. My grandmother has come back supposedly to my mom, but I think my grandmother knows like how nervous I am about that kind of stuff. So she's like, I'm not going to Ava. I'll go to her mom. I'm not going to Ava. So
That's great.
Yeah.
Well, I'm actually the opposite.
Oh,
really?
So it's so funny.
I was going to say, Jennifer, it sounds like you've got a lot of layers of this onion we're going to peel through.
It's intriguing. Do tell. Yeah.
Well, I am very religious and spiritual, and I always have
But
been.
isn't religion and spirituality two different things?
No, I think it's absolutely the same. I think that it comes hand in hand. I think that personally, after you die, you go to your eternal life. You go to. I mean, that's the goal. So I there's nothing to be afraid of. It's one of those things where it should be kind of. I don't know, not excited, but it's one of those things where
Not to be scared of.
Not to be scared of. It's inevitable.
Right.
I think that's what scares me though, is that it is inevitable.
You have no choice.
You have no choice. You have to go.
Who would want to be on this earth that long though? Like I'm ready to move to another planet.
I like to know when, where, what, how. Like if you can't tell me those things, I'm freaked out.
But I wonder if Tyler would be able to. Because
See, that freaks me out.
Would you want to? I don't think you can know that stuff.
Yeah, I don't know that he's
drive you
projecting
crazy.
into the future necessarily.
Would you want to know that though?
No, I wouldn't. No.
Really?
No.
So you're like more at ease with just.
I'm perfectly at ease because I just feel as though every part of our being is an experience. So for whatever reason, this is our experience right now. And when it's time for us to move into a different experience, we just will.
Scary.
I think it's fun. Okay, so she back to Melissa real quick so we can recap this segment for the viewers, for the audience. She gave him a material object. So basically what happens is he comes in and the person he's going to be speaking with gives him 3 objects. They can be a book, it can be some sort of memento, and he literally touches it and gets the energy off of that inanimate object and starts feeling whatever power whatever being is coming to them. So she asked him to touch a music box, basically. What? Not a music box.
It was like a little, like a music box.
Like a music, right, wooden music box. And she said, can you please touch this? And he started channeling her grandmother, giving messages of peace. And she told him at the end that, this was my grandmother's. So he did that again with the second guest. Again, the second guest being Melissa Beer, was it?
Yes.
Yeah, Madison Beer.
Madison Beer.
Sorry, Madison. Great song, by the way, that we opened up with.
Yeah.
Madison's
I
great.
loved it.
So Madison did the same thing. Madison came to him with 3 things, right? One was, I think it was a blanket, and then a photo, and then some sort of wooden, a piece of wood. And he touched each one of those 3 objects and channeled different people with different messages. So I just, I believe in energy. And I believe that people can transmit their energy from things and objects and beings and spaces.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I agree with that as well. I agree with that as well. And it's so interesting to see, when Tyler has that object, like what happens. I mean, you have to watch, like, what his emotions are like when he touches the objects that the people give him, and he's either sweating or he's crying, and it's like you just want to know like what the message is.
But you have to wonder too how draining this is for him. Because he's getting bombarded with sounds, images, and that's a lot to try to sift through.
Do you think it turns off, or do you think it's always on for him?
I want to ask him.
Yeah, Tyler, if you're watching, tweet us or actually leave us a comment on the YouTube link after the show.
Yes,
because we'd love to know if it ever turns off. I don't think it does.
That's so overwhelming.
Again,
it's a lot.
It's hard.
Yeah,
but is it hard though? Because basically he's had this from when since he was born. So is this just another aspect of his personality? Could be seemingly hard to us.
He just accepts it.
Well, I mean, like if you're on if you're on vacation and you want to unplug, and then you're having all these like scary, not scary, but maybe overwhelming thoughts about a message.
Someone's grandma,
someone's grandmother or something. I feel like that could just be. I mean, he is used to it, as you said. So I don't know, but to me, it seems very overwhelming.
Yeah. All the time.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's like a phone that doesn't go off that you can't put in the other room.
Notifications that just never end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What I want to know too is, does your soul go somewhere else? Like, or does it, or not the soul? I guess your soul moves out of your body, obviously, but are the spirits kind of around us all the time? I look around.
You're more in tune, though, it seems, with this. So I'm very curious to know what your thoughts on this.
So I believe in realms.
Okay.
And there's different
Explain.
realms.
Yeah.
Yes.
So things that we can't see, they say that there's 3 realms and there's different it's kind of difficult to speak on because it's not facts and it's I'm used to reporting facts, so I feel like this is like weird. But yeah, it's one of those things where obviously you can't explain, but people have, done the studies with kind of like light and sound, and it's kind of on that same spectrum. Comments on our YouTube channel and talk to us about that because I mean I know some things, but I don't want to just kind of blurt out things that I've found on YouTube.
Well, and a lot of this goes back to literally to science and quantum physics, right?
Yeah.
Because they're actually now starting to prove, and I think it was even Einstein was starting to prove that there is energy just is.
Right.
And we used to think that this was all open space, and it's not. It's actually the opposite. This is all filled with matter. And and it's just
I'm
it's
like
cool.
creeped
I
out
know.
over here. I'm sitting here like, oh my gosh.
I had it's funny speaking of spirit. So I'm not I wouldn't say I'm spiritual, but I never delved into this. And I had a really trippy experience about 10 years ago. I was at a family dinner. There was about 10 of us sitting around the family dinner, and I had this overwhelming feeling that my grandfather had shown up at this dinner. Now the trippy thing is, I had never met my grandfather. My grandfather had died before I was born. But I knew so clearly, without a doubt, that that was him that had come into that space.
Then it was.
And I think it was.
Yeah,
and that was
there's
my
a
first
certainty.
encounter, I mean, I don't have
Did
a lot.
you tell
but
someone about
you know what? I started crying. I literally started crying. I was so overwhelmed with emotion.
Yeah.
And if you had told me this before that happened, I would have said, it's all hocus pocus. I was very much a skeptic. But this experience for me was so vivid and strong and impactful. And he actually went up to my dad.
Oh, wow.
He was my dad's dad. He went up to my dad and he stroked my dad, kind of to say, like, I'm very proud of you that, this is your family. And my dad's dad died when he was 7. Wow. So it's really weird. But I have no doubt watching this show today that Tyler very much can be in communication with these other beings. Yeah.
Have you guys ever had a ghost encounter where you felt like, okay, that was a spirit in your house, or
that would have been mine.
That would have been yours.
That would have been mine.
I've had thousands. So
Really?
I don't,
You got lots.
I'm like, I don't even. Yeah.
I think ghosts just know not to mess with me because I haven't.
You know what? You do have to be open to it. I close myself off, and
that's okay. I'm not open.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not open.
I haven't had an experience in over maybe 5 years
wow.
because the last one scared me so much that I just didn't want any of it. And,
And
I prayed.
My mom says that as well. When her mom came back to her, my mom said, I'm afraid that she's not going to come back to me again because I was so freaked out by it that I feel like I've scared her off, and I've been wanting her to come back, and I just feel like she won't.
See, that's interesting because I don't get freaked out by it.
Oh, I do, very much so. I do, especially if I'm in a in a place alone. You know what I mean? Like, where do you what do you do? Like, where do you go? It's just
Well, I mean, if you don't feel comfort, usually you feel the comfort, like what they're trying to give to you, the message. So like you're
right, like I felt maybe that's why I'm not scared, because I felt very comforted.
Right, and he's like, I'm here, everything's okay, I'm proud of you, and I'm watching, and that's kind of what I think Tyler wants to do, is to bridge that gap. And for people like you who are terrified, and I don't want any of it.
And the thing that I liked about Tyler too is the fact that he seems very, very genuine and very sincere.
Yeah.
Somebody in his position could be walking around with an ego up to here.
Yeah.
And he doesn't seem like that at all. I think he seems that he genuinely wants to be of service, that he genuinely wants to support
and help
someone.
people too.
Yeah. And so good on you, Tyler.
I love him.
Yeah.
What did you think of Snooki? Guest number 3.
Oh my gosh.
Well, I loved that they obviously have a connection,
So they're old friends.
They're they seem like low-key besties.
For anyone that missed it, Tyler had actually read Snooki last season.
Yes.
So he was now coming back to continue the conversation.
Yeah. And it's great that they like have this relationship, and it seems as if Snooki's very comfortable with him. So that's great, because obviously she introduced him
He
to
established that rapport with her. Yeah.
Yeah, like she introduced him to, you know, her family.
She's like, we're all here.
We're all
All
here.
of us.
All of us are here.
She was literally, again, for anyone that didn't see it, she was literally there with 7 or 8 or 9 family members on the couch.
Which would have happened to me too. Like if one of my family members heard about this, they would have all been on the couch too.
Absolutely.
So I love that she, you know, it's obvious that they have a relationship. It's obvious that she trusts him to deliver those, you know, important messages. I thought it was great, you know, and I also kind of like, I love seeing Snooki like in this new element, like no longer Jersey Shore, like, you know, the slim down Snooki. I have my life together. I'm a mom, I'm a wife. I'm trying to get these mediums. I love it. I love it.
Yeah, she has a new show and everything.
She's just, to see her evolve too, it's just great.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
in general, I loved it.
Yeah.
I loved it.
It was really cute.
Yeah.
And like I feel like they're like, no, like they're on the same page. And they're like, no,
Very
that was
much.
this person, that was this.
Yep.
And there's no skeptics there, so I think that he can even get into deeper reading.
Yeah.
I'm sure he can get
Yeah.
into deeper reading. I'm sure he is talented beyond measure. If you had the opportunity to sit with him for continuous amount of time.
I know
Yeah.
I'd cry.
Absolutely.
I would just cry.
We were crying watching
Yeah,
the
oh my
first
gosh,
one.
women were laughing, women were crying, women. It's just so many emotions.
The studio was like, can you guys keep
Can you guys be quiet?
Yeah, we're like, try watching this show. It's
You know what I think is interesting too is when he, he sits with a pad and paper, and as he's getting this feedback, he scribbles. But the thing that I found interesting is with a couple of these guests, he was picking out letters, the letter S, the letter L, and so, for example, with Snooki, right, he was hearing or seeing the letter L, and it ended up being for Lexi, which was Snooki's stepsister, I think.
Stepsister, yeah.
and also the rose for Rose.
For Melissa.
Yeah, for Melissa. So it was, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's like not just, what it is, it's the sound of it too, and because the spirit realm is just like, hey, flashing signs, like
Now, do you think as a culture, as a human beings, we are becoming more evolved, more aware of our ability to tap into this cognitive?
I personally, I think that it's happened for centuries, but I think if you have the gift, then you have the gift. But and also I do think that it's passed down a lot of times too.
Yeah.
But I think that nowadays we have social media and we have television shows, and also a lot of people want to be famous and a lot of people want attention. So there's a lot of people who claim that, and I don't think that 100 years ago people would claim that, because you'd probably be stoned or something. I don't know. 200 years ago.
Yeah.
So I think people are more open to it now, and it's more believable. People know that this actually happens. I think, there's more ghost shows and stuff like that.
No, I definitely agree. I think that we're definitely living in a time that we are more prone to being open, whereas like before, living in society where it probably wasn't accepted, like as you said. So yeah, I definitely think that, for people like me who are skeptical, I'm still open to be like, you know what, like he's genuine. I can kind of believe like, what he's saying.
I think I'd be a little more skeptical if he was older. Like if he was, let's say, in his 40s.
Yeah.
And you could kind of, not to say that people that get older or you mistrust them, but I think somebody so young, he's only 20.
Right,
for him to be BSing people and have that much skill to be an amazing actor, an amazing, faker, an amazing, all of that. I think that's
manipulator.
That's
a researcher, find things like medical files.
That's too much for me. I think he's just too young to have that capacity.
To have all
for
that,
that. So for me, that made it a little bit more real.
Yeah, and speaking or going off from that, especially because he doesn't seem like the kind of kid that's very into, he says that he wasn't really into television as a kid. It's not like, he's super into that kind of thing. And so it's kind of like, I feel like he's kind of like the outsider in the LA world that has come here because he has such a strong gift. Yeah. But to me, it just makes it more genuine because he's like, I don't like to know who the people are until I walk up to their door. I'm not really into television. I don't know who these people are.
Well,
like,
he's actually from California. He's from outside of Fresno.
Okay.
But that's not to say that he grew up with a lot of TV, right?
Into like a lot of TV world and like the Hollywood world. Like it's obvious that he's not in touch with that, and he's, getting to know that being here. But to me, it gives me more of a genuine, like, okay, so he's not coming from like any motive. Like this is genuinely like what he is gifted at and, and what he can do. So it makes it more believable. I don't know.
I agree.
To me, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. We've got a ton of guests coming on the show. So they were talking about, let's see here, we've got Adrena Partridge is coming on.
Kendra. I'm so excited for
Tori
her.
Spelling. Who else? We've got Reza from Shaws of Sunset.
So many people.
Yeah, so many people.
Moby's coming on.
Oh, that's going to be good.
That's going to be a good one.
That's going to be a good one. Yeah. And I'm really excited to see Kendra because her grandmother, with Kendra on top, it featured her grandmother passing and how she was dealing with that. So I'm really interested to see like what Tyler, if he taps into that and, is able to give her like a positive message from her
a
grandma.
level of comfort.
Yeah, closure too.
Right.
Yeah.
I want to know who's a skeptic, and I love those. Those are my favorite.
In terms of the star that he's going to visit.
Like Melissa, like the Melissa type. Yeah.
That just go in and go.
Because I'd definitely be that. I would definitely be that. Yeah.
Well, last season there was someone, I forget who it was now. The name will come to me later. But he was almost kind of not answering anything that Tyler was saying. He was just like
very uncooperative.
Yeah. And then all the people in the back room were like, he clearly knows what this is about because all of us know. So they actually had to come out, producers had to talk and be like, look, like you either cooperate or you don't. I mean, he can't move past something if like someone's showing a rose. He's not going to get past that rose.
Well, and I think too, if I was Tyler, I'd be looking for some sort of validation to what I'm saying.
That's right.
So that I can
exactly. To continue to deliver the message. And to me, like for someone that is skeptical, if he's giving me a good reason for me to give him information, then I would totally be open. Like if he looked at me and was like, I'm getting this rose signal, I would totally be like, oh, this is because blah blah blah. I don't know if I would, not answer, But I mean, you have to be open. If you're willing to have him read you, you have to come with an open mind for sure. Like you can't be, closed off.
Right.
Yeah.
He was like, do you know this person? And the guy's like, no. They're like, yeah, we know that
His
you
friends
know.
in the back.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, and you know what I found was
good.
interesting is with the first two guests, right, with Melissa and then with Madison.
Yeah.
They had family members. They had their moms and their siblings in the back. So they were sitting down one-on-one with Tyler, but then their family members were in the back. And a lot of times, the message was for the family members. Yeah. So whoever was being channeled was there, not necessarily, you know what I'm saying? There's almost a larger reason. There's a bigger picture to be painted sometimes.
Yeah,
for, I mean, bringing people together.
When he was talking to Madison about her karate teacher, he's like, "This is the reason why I'm here to speak to you."
Your brother.
About,
Right.
Yeah, and I think that's amazing. I think that it's definitely a God-given gift, and he has a purpose to.
Now, this must have been incredibly challenging for him, though, to come out to the world with. Imagine the amount of criticism he was afraid to be confronted with.
Or like being in school too. Like, you know what I mean? Having to, adapt socially with different people and him maybe not being confident enough to tell his friends like, hey, like this is what I can do.
I'd be curious to know when he sort of started sharing that and whether like you said, it's passed along, whether anyone else in his family may have had this ability.
Yeah. Would you have told your friends or would you have just told your family? I think I would have just told my mother actually. No one else.
Yeah, that's hard because when you're, 12 and 14.
See what I mean? Those are tough years. Those are really tough years. I don't know if I'd go to school and be like, hey, guys.
No.
But this is very clearly his purpose. Do you girls feel that you have a purpose in life?
Oh, deep.
There we go.
A transition.
Dr. Katerina. I'm going to have my own therapy show soon.
Iyanla fixed my life. I feel like, okay, geez, Louisa. I know, right? She's getting Oprah on me.
All right, I do.
I ask because I've been grappling with this question lately. Like,
I do.
Do you think that you control your destiny or does destiny control you? I've really been grappling with this.
That's such a good question. Oh man, there's so much to say. Coming from.
You want me to go first?
We want you at home.
Girl,
we're gonna pause.
open a can of
We're
worms.
gonna pause while Ava takes a breath, and we're gonna ask you at home to tweet us. Let us know what you think. Do you control your destiny, or does destiny control you? And can Tyler tell you?
Yeah.
No, I think that you definitely have a purpose, and I think that there are a lot of things like milestones that are supposed to happen. Like you're supposed to cross paths with certain people. You're supposed to do certain things. But you do have a free will and you do have choices.
Yeah.
And if you do a certain choice, then you get a certain reaction. And then it might bring you down a different path, but you always end up coming back to your track on what you're supposed to do. I mean, I think that everyone does have a purpose. A lot of times people don't find it.
That's scary.
I mean,
Well, not necessarily, because I just.
Well, it's scary because for me, I think
You're killing it, girl. You're good.
We've got to bring you some tequila. So
I
you
know,
cannot
right?
be
I need
scared
10
of
shots
life.
right now. It's just so heavy. It's so heavy. I just, for me in my life, I know for a fact that every day I wake up and I know one of my deepest fears is not living my destiny, is knowing my purpose. Because it's one thing to know your purpose and not act on your purpose and not know your purpose at all. And for me,
Do you know your purpose?
I know my purpose.
Okay.
And so for me to wake up every day and know my purpose and not act on it, to me, it's like like God giving you a gift that you have chosen not to tap into. And that's one of my biggest regrets is to not,
And I think that's probably why Tyler is acting on this, right? Because he probably has that same sense of feeling. But you're so young, you don't have a regret about anything yet. You've got so many years.
You know what? I do.
Move ahead.
I do. As
Really?
crazy as that sounds, I have a ton of regrets, and I'm not even 30. But I mean, I do. But they're more so like things that I wish that I was in school, or things that I wish that I had done. Like I wish that I was more confident in grade school. I wish that I had stood up for myself. I wish, like looking back, I wish that I was more like dominant in who I was and loved who I was, or just different things that I wish I had done. Like
And I often think that too, because imagine that, like, you have that perspective at not even 30. Imagine the perspective of someone that's 90.
Which my
looks
grandmother
back on
just
their
turned
life.
90 on Saturday.
Wow, happy birthday,
Happy
Grandma.
birthday, I love you, Grandma. She won't even see this, but it's okay. But yeah, I mean, sitting there and seeing her turn 90, it's like you can just, I don't know, it's like a memory book of your whole life.
Jennifer, do you feel like you've got a destiny?
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
Isn't that a heavy question?
It's a heavy question.
It's heavy.
I do think that there's a drive there that's given to me for a purpose.
Yeah.
I think that a lot of things do happen for a reason. And for what you were saying about, you wishing that you were more than certain things, I think that you have those experiences and you had the free will at that time to go make your choices, and you can now pass that along to other people.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you didn't have that experience, you wouldn't have said that right now, and who knows who's watching.
Right.
There's
Love yourself.
There's so many reasons. I personally, I don't know what my purpose is. Okay. So,
and again, we don't know that you have to have a purpose, right?
Right. Who knows? Yeah. But I'm just kind of accepting and going with whatever's given to me and seeing what happens.
Yeah. And what's that quote when something about like, you should never not tap into something that you can't go a day without thinking about.
Right.
So, I mean, don't you feel like that's kind of a signal, a strong signal for your purpose? Like,
I think
Then TV, I can't.
Yeah.
I think about that every day.
Like, what is something that you wake up every day to and you're like, man, I love that, or I have to do that?
Well, I turn on the Kardashians. I don't know.
Me too. Other than waking up wanting to be Kylie Jenner, which we all want to be.
Speaking of Kylie Jenner, did you notice Snooki's lips?
Yes.
Snooki's lips looking a little bit different.
Yes.
She's got them done a while ago.
They were looking a little
However,
Kylie Jenner-y to me.
Kylie has gotten the best lip job in Hollywood. Like her lips they were done very well.
She did them very slowly too, and that's why.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, a lot of people go, and then it's like overkill, and she did it very gradually so people wouldn't notice at first, and then she's like, well.
But don't you think she has to get it redone like every 4 months, right? Like it's not permanent. So what happens like over time?
They don't get that way ever. They don't wait to have it get someplace. They just keep it up. They have it like scheduled.
Can you imagine having to keep that up for like I don't know.
Well,
what
it's
if
like
you
dyeing
stop?
your hair, though, right?
Yeah.
So like, what if
I mean,
you
people
stop?
go dye their
what
hair
happens?
every 6 weeks.
Yeah.
I mean, who knows what happens to your face? I mean, when things start, I don't know. I don't like that. That's for botched, though. That's for the after show.
Speaking of botched, they're going to have one of the doctors on this show.
And Kris Jenner, isn't she on this season too?
Jenner's
Oh,
gonna
that's
be
going to be
on.
so good. Oh my gosh, especially like from Rob Kardashian, from her ex-husband. I would love to hear.
I don't know if they'd show everything. I feel like there's some secrets that would
Or
come
like
out.
Nicole Simpson.
OJ's secrets. Yeah.
I wonder what you have to sign when you sit down with this kid,
my
right?
gosh.
Yeah.
She's like, never mind. Don't put any of that in there. Let's do a retake.
Man. Yeah.
and it's all in
that's
the
heavy.
Heat family, right? So
Yeah. No,
I think they've got each other's backs. Yeah.
Yeah. She's like, all right, edit all the OJ stuff.
Yeah, no, seriously.
I did
He
hear,
has
though,
answers.
He has answers. I did hear that Tyler Henry, the star of the show, Tyler, we keep referring to Tyler, is writing a book as well.
Oh, really?
Oh,
Yes. So we're going to keep
read
our,
it.
we've got to keep
I
our
wanna
ears
read it
open for that.
too.
Yes. Yeah, that one's going to be good.
Yes.
This season's going to be great.
Ladies, anything else you want to comment on about the show itself, today's episode?
I'm excited.
We're almost done. I feel like
I know.
we just started. No, I love the show, and I'm excited to see who else he talks to and their reactions and what comes through, and I love it.
Yeah, I agree. And most importantly, I can't wait to discuss it with you guys. I think that's what I'm going to be looking forward to more than anything else, I feel like I'm going to evolve over the season and be like, I'm open to ghosts.
New women.
I was going to say,
I'm a new woman.
We're going to be talking about destiny and heaven and hell and
Honey, my whole life will be snatched by the end of this season. I'm so excited.
Before we wrap up, like they're talking about clairvoyance, which is a French term actually for clearly seeing, and there's also, other ways of tapping into spirit. So clairaudience is another one which isn't used as often, but it's hearing only. So he's sort of seeing things come in, and he's drawing and doodling. But there's clairkinetic, I think it's called, which is you feel them. So we've got a lot that we're going to tap into.
Oh, I'm so excited.
It's fun.
Oh my gosh. I'm going to do so much research. I'm so excited.
Yes, no, I am too.
I'm going to be like,
I am
on this.
too. Like, this is I'm just ready for like the discussions,
Guys, please comment. Talk to our YouTube channel. Tweet us. Do all that.
Yeah, and stay with us every Wednesday night because we're going to be having a good time here.
We are. I'm so excited. Thank you guys for this has just been great. My first show.
Yes, welcome to AfterBuzz.
We bumped headphones.
We forgot we're wearing the headphones.
This is just great. I'm so excited. Between this season and you girls, it's going to be good.
Yeah.
It's going to be good. I wouldn't miss out. Wouldn't do it.
That's right. So we're going to wrap up. Tell us one more time, Ava, where we can find you.
At the Ava Hill on Instagram and on Facebook as Ava Hill. And because of these ladies, I'm going to up my social media life, get my Twitter on and my Snapchat on.
You'll get a Twitter by the end. And you can find me at Jennifer Leone TV on Instagram and Twitter.
And you can find me on Twitter at Cozias Katerina. Twitter support, if you're out there, please hit me up because I've sent you 100,000 messages. You never respond. On Instagram, you can hit me up at Katerina Cozias. I'd love to chat with you, get with you on both. That was our show. Woo! Stay with us. We're here every Wednesday night. You can catch us on AfterBuzzTV.com. You can catch us on YouTube. You can catch us on iPod.
iTunes.
That's right. So
all of it.
That's right. And we'll see you. Tyler, great show. Congratulations on season 2. Thanks everyone for watching. We'll be with you again next week.
Bye.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.